did more coke? Michael Beck or Glenn Beck? Huh? Anyway. Uh-oh.
And once again, I start recording, and maybe I should let you know instead of just pushing the button before we go.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking about people snorting coke.
yeah. I'm Eric Paul Johnson,
And I'm Eric Winsenson.
and this, of course, is Bobby right here. Bobby.
Bobby is his name now.
Yes, somebody on our YouTube page suggested naming him Kelly, which I'm gonna have to put him on the other hand.
But
Which
he did sue us at some point for royalties.
Kelly's a generic name. It doesn't have to be Kelly Croquette, although I did like the idea of naming him after Kelly Croquette because I think he deserves a lot of recognition. But Madeline told me that when she got it, named him Bobby. So it's Bobby, which
Okay.
kind of makes sense because when a fish dies, it, bobs to the surface.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when Bobby is speaking, that's when he'll be reading your replies, and when not, that's when I'm replying to replies, because sometimes it gets a little confusing. There is no voice for Bobby, and I am not going to do a voice. I don't do voices because I feel stupid doing voices. So
You don't feel stupid holding a puppet fish.
no, I don't feel stupid holding a puppet fish, but I do feel stupid if I try and make up a voice for it. I mean, unless I had like some voice enhancer thing, if there was a widget on here where I could, just heliumize my voice through some sort of Zoom effect, sure, but I'm not going to make one up. So.
No, I wouldn't do a helium voice. I'd just make him talk like Darth Vader. Especially since he's out of water.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, got a lot of replies for All Right, which would divert into people's opinions about the album. Straighten this up. So what I did was I just edited down the comments to where it's about the song All Right. And if you don't hear us read what you wrote or everything you wrote, that's because you just wait until we get to the Zoom bonus tracks episode. Then the comments that you made about the album and the comments about All Right, that's when we'll do them then, because otherwise we're going to be here for a long time, because there were a lot of comments that came in about All Right, and there were a lot of long comments that came in about All Right. So try and keep this down, because I realize you people out there have other things to do besides watch a couple of goobers talk about E.L.O.
Who are you calling you people?
Sorry. You humans.
Okay. So, Don Field says, and so the endurance test starts.
Yes, it does. But not for everybody. Jib Khan. I loved Zoom when it came out. My favorite JL thing since Balance of Power. I do agree that choosing All Right as a single was a baffling choice. Not a bad song, but certainly not a first single. It really should have been Ordinary Dream. And no video to accompany the single? Talk about a record company dropping the ball on the reactivation of an evergreen brand name. Yeah, I don't want to get too into this because I got a lot to say about that when we get to the bonus tracks episode. But yeah, the record company, yeah. So.
And I'm going to have to apologize here because if we're probably not hearing it on our end, but if you are watching the video, you're probably going, "Oh God, Eric forgot to put his gain up again."
Can I control?
Yeah, I just fixed it so people will be able to hear me when the video goes live.
Okay, yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I just realized. Wait a minute, I'm still at podcast level, not Zoom level.
Gotta bump it up to Zoom level. Okay.
Good. So I bumped it up to Zoom level.
Okay.
And we're just like our podcast is now bumped up to Zoom level.
Oh, and there you go. You made Bob live up to his name.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sam DeMilt says the message has unrealized poignance in the later events of 2001. should have seen an ass-kicking intro to the Grammys that year.
Should have
I
been.
adore All Right, All Right.
Should have been an ass kicking, not should have seen an ass kicking.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen an ass-kicking on the Grammys at some point. Mainly the
Um.
people who vote on the Grammys.
Yeah. Give it time. Um. It is all right that you adore All Right. I'm glad that you like it. It didn't do much for me, but I'm happy that you find happiness with All Right. So that I'm good with that. You know, something I had to explain to some people. Just because I don't like a song doesn't mean you don't have to not like that song too. You can like it. You're free to like what you like, even if I think it sucks. But I didn't think All Right sucked. It was all right. Andre Torok, which was wasn't he that big beefy wrestler guy from that Ed Wood used to use in his movies?
That was Tor Johnson.
Oh, sounds like it's a good name for that though. Andrew Torok.
It sounds like a character that he would have written into his movie.
Yes. I disagree. I think All Right is I think All Right is a good tune, but better than the blandness of the rest of Doom. I mean Zoom. Hmm.
Doomed. We're doomed. Vinnie Corbett. EPJ, that was really brave of you to share your experience with depression and at times feeling like ending it all. I'm glad you didn't because we never would have had this awesome E.L.O. podcast. My heart goes out to you because I've dealt with the same feelings over the years. Music definitely helps get through those tough times. And I can say through experience, wanting to get through recording all of your music, even if you've done it a few times and new formats came out while you're doing it. Let me just say, without getting too maudlin, that yeah, it keeps you going.
Yes, yes, it does. And it's a good thing I didn't kill myself on March 25th, 1994, because apparently my only good thing for being alive was doing the podcast. So that's good.
Well, and being a good father to Madeline
Well,
and
there's that too.
being a good husband to Tala,
Well, I
you
guess
know,
there's also that
all
too. Yeah. And I would have missed out on some really great Lego sets. So,
that's true.
yeah. No, I'm funning with Vinny. I'm sure he thinks I have more value than as an ELO podcast producer, creator,
Right.
host, all that.
And you didn't want to miss the entire Jay-Z hip hop era.
See, now you're making me wish I had done it. Well, thank you. Really brave? I guess. I don't know. I've never really kept that a secret. It's always been really something that I've always pretty much been out there. As a matter of fact, if you ever, it was a pretty much flowed through a lot of the comic strips I drew. My award-winning comic strip, by the way, which you can read all of them in my book, Eric Paul Johnson Strips for Your Pleasure. It's got all the tunes I drew from 1986 to 2009. It's even got the early strips I drew that looked that looked terrifying. I got much better as time went on. This is near the end of the strip. It's also got the tunes I drew when I was 9. It's like a complete anthology of my tunes from when I was a kid to 2009. Eric Paul Johnson Strips for Your Pleasure. You can get it at lulu.com, $25 paperback or $5 for the e-version. And the e-version has the Sunday tunes in color, which I couldn't do for this book because then that would push the price up a lot more. So go ahead. Eric Paul Johnson Strips for Your Pleasure, lulu.com. Buy tons of copies. So there you go.
How many copies of that have you sold? I know it's been out for a while.
Yeah, I put it out in 2009. It does need some updating. I don't know. 30?
Okay.
25-ish? It hasn't been a lot, obviously.
At
Otherwise,
least you publish something.
well, it's self-publishing, so you just do the work of formatting and putting things where they go. You you download the file, and computers print the whole thing up, and you get yourself a copy for. And then when somebody asks, "Hey, about your comic strip?" "Oh yeah, my book." "Oh, you mean I'd have to pay for it?" "You know what? Just fine. Here, I'll pay for it. I get a huge discount because it's my book. Here, if you can't pry $25 out of your wallet, or even $5 for the e-version."
Well, actually, what you should do is just kind of do a few strips for me for free because that'll give you some exposure.
Oh, right. You mean like I did when I was on the College Voice?
Yeah, exposure.
Hmm.
Because exposure tastes wonderful and fills your belly.
Yes, exposure pays my college debt. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there you go. Using my depression to sell my stuff, which, yeah, it figured heavily in my comic strip. That was another thing that saved my life: cartooning and writing and making music and all that stuff. So yeah. So um, yeah. I think we're done with Vinny's comment here. I think that's my comment to Vinny. Um, so yeah, but the depressing times are over. Now that I've got steady sex and money to buy Legos, what's to be depressed about?
Um, Instead of just steady Legos and money to buy sex.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I gotta put Bob back on. Bobby. Doug Payton, get used to the drums. They'll be with us for a long time.
That time is going to be either 3/4 or 4/4 for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
MJ Fold says, "Yes, you are so right. The song is all right. I remember hearing that sampler they put out and thinking, is that it? How dull! Of course, the full thing is better because of the middle where it briefly soars and then back to the same old song. I hope the darkness doesn't take you to that low place again, Eric. We would miss you. Love the data clip. And that is a great scene. Oh, I do like the plucked parts. The plucked parts. Well, I prefer the parts I'm going to eat to be plucked, yes.
Yes.
Like Troy pointed out, if it's not a banjo, it sounds banjo esque. You can probably tell I find the middle the most interesting part, as that was what I chose for the song link I did for you.
Oh yeah. Um.
So
You.
all right's kind of like an Oreo.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Get the
Yeah,
good part
where
in the middle
you want
there.
to skip that bland chocolate
Mm-hmm.
part and just go for the middle. The
Sweet, sweet cream part.
exactly
Yeah.
sugary. I think it's Crisco with sugar added or whatever that is.
Probably, but it tastes damn
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I never heard the banjo or banjo-esque thing. Um, Maybe my ears just didn't pick it up. It could be there. I know George Harrison got Jeff hooked on a sort of a banjo ukulele or some sort of instrument like that. As for, I hope the darkness doesn't take you to that low place again. No, again, as long as I have Tella, Madeline, Legos, and money, I should be fine. And even if not, I'm not the suicide type. I just, like I said when we talked about all right, there's the future. You never know what the future's going to bring. So that's that's partly what kept me from doing myself in. Oh, and my cat, because on March 25th, 1994, when I had my mind set, when I get home from work, I'm axing myself. And then I got home, and then my cat Tegan trotted up to me, and I petted Tegan, and I thought, I'm gonna miss Tegan if I kill myself. All right, I think I'm gonna change my plans for the night. So, and I think we're getting a cat, so that should help things.
Oh,
Should that
excellent.
ever, should I ever go that far again, which I hope not. Also, I'm older and I've gotten laid, so which was part of the a subsection of the depression back then. Not getting laid ever. Mike Hudson. As to all right, well, it's all right. Yeah, I know that pun has been done to death, but that's really about the way it is. The song isn't terrible, but it certainly isn't spectacular. And you guys are absolutely correct in your assessment that it shouldn't have been the lead single, nor the first track from the album. There are plenty more tracks on this album that are way better than this one, but I'll save those comments for those songs when they come up in the podcast. I know I've heard the Richardless version of this song, but it was a long time ago, and the many times I have heard this song since then, it's been the album version that does indeed have Richard on it. At least he got to be on one track on the album. Should have been on every track on the album. I think if Richard had been on all the tracks on this album, that a lot of fans would lean more toward calling this an E.L.O. album rather than saying it's a solo album. Again, for my ears, I think the problem is I really don't hear Richard Tandy's part too much. So, I mean, I listened to the one without Richard and I listened to the one with Richard, and it's a little hard to pick him out. He's so buried in the loud guitars and banging drums and the vocals. So, I don't know if Richard really made a difference to hearing the song. Oh, and there's one more part for Mike's, because he goes on a lot about the album, which, again, we'll get to. What are there, 12 tracks, so 3 months? I was actually surprised that in the podcast there was nothing mentioned of the word veranda. Or did I miss that part? I never knew that word until this song. So if nothing else, Jeff Lynne added a word to my vocabulary. No, you didn't miss that part. I missed it. I never noticed that the word veranda had been in the song until people started replying to the song and mentioned, there's veranda in the song. So I forgot to look up the lyrics that day when we recorded that episode. Okay, now I'm done with Mike Hudson.
Okay, so
Okay.
Rob Evans says, I was on a family vacation in the Black Hills when Zoom was released and E.L.O. were on VH1 Storytellers. I had to watch the show from the hotel lobby in Rapid City. A few days later, I called the local rock station and requested that they play All Right. They did. It was so awesome hearing a new E.L.O. single after so many dry years. It was the only time we heard it played on standard radio.
Oh, you heard it one more time than I
Played in
did.
Rapid City.
What's that?
Got played in Rapid City.
And that's probably the only place it got played. Thank you, Rob, for helping E.L.O. get some airplay with that song. Because when this album came out, who knew? It was like nobody noticed. So it definitely didn't get any airplay.
The song was number 238 with a bullet.
Yeah. Trevor Raggett. And so we get to Zoom. I reckon all the puns that need to be made about All Right have already been made. And I guess I agree with most of the comments made on the podcast. It is really interesting to hear a new and different, for Jeff, guitar sound as the song kicks in. A bit of me always thinks. Oh, sorry. So is this what it would have sounded like if Jeff had ever been hired to produce a ZZ Top? Or more likely, Fabulous Thunderbirds album? I'm good with ZZ Top. I can't stand the Fabulous Thunderbirds.
I cannot ever remember anything they've ever done.
They did a song, Tough Enough was their big hit.
Oh, God. Oh,
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We can blame Trevor for getting that in our heads now.
That was a pop song forever.
No.
Just not a good one.
Yeah, just not a good one if it was.
But I remember it. I remember it now, yes.
Yeah. Certainly the clanking of what sounds like an electric banjo in the background is an interesting new texture, too. Never heard that on a Jeff track before. So what is the problem with All Right? There are lots of likable bits to it, a sort of catchy-ish tune, and lots of interesting production in there. It's pleasantly up-tempo, but somehow the whole is a lot less than the sum of the parts. Perhaps the biggest problem is that it shares a characteristic with much of the rest of Zoom. Instant forgettability. Oh, I wish I had a little bell that I could ring or a xylophone so I can instant forgettability. Bing! It's telling that when I think that Jeff Lynne All Right, it's not this song that comes to mind, but instead I start humming the Traveling Wilburys' End of the Line. Now there's a catchy song. Yeah, that is a catchy song. I love End of the Line.
I'm sitting here wondering if I still have a glockenspiel. So I can just run in there and run back out. Ding!
You know, when I was editing the bonus tracks for Flashback, and when we gave our star ratings, that's when it hit me. Oh, we should have like a little xylophone that goes ding, hits one ding for every star, and just kind of goes up the scale. And I was looking all over the place. Surely Madeline has a toy xylophone. That's what I want. No toy xylophone. Not here. Apparently it's at her grandma's, so I'm gonna have to go out and get myself a toy xylophone. I never had one as a kid. Sad, really. I did have a piano, which was
My parents like quiet toys.
yeah. Piano was taken away though when my mom caught me walking across the keyboard. So that went back to the store.
Did you think you were a cat?
I just thought, I'm 7 years old. I was 7 years old. I was bored with my piano lessons. Mom's not here. I'm going to walk across the keyboard. But apparently, she was in the apartments straight across the way and saw into the apartment that I was walking across the piano keyboard. And that's what my mom said. All right, you're not doing your lessons. I caught you walking across the keyboard. The piano goes back. So.
And you went, oh, darn.
No, I tried to say, no, I didn't. So, good.
Oh.
I wish I knew how to play the piano, and I did want to know how to play the piano. Just the lessons were so boring. So, and that's why I'm here where I am now. I could have been the next Elton John or Liberace, but I'm not gay and flamboyant, so.
It does not take that to be a good piano player.
You can liquor it up and drop.
He's neither.
No.
He's just an a-hole.
Well, see, I don't get liquored up, so I wouldn't be able to get liquored up and drive either. So I don't have the makings of your piano player. Oh, I could have been Richard Tandy.
See?
Yeah. Anyway, we should probably move on. I'm starting to go into the dark place. Not really. Not really.
And now everybody's going to go, Eric just laughed at Eric going into the dark place.
It's okay. There are boobs downstairs.
Both Erics have been there. That's why, that's my sense of humor goes.
Yeah. But there are boobs downstairs, and I can look at them whenever I want. So that's an instant perk up.
And being overweight and close to 50, unfortunately, I've also got a pair of my own getting.
You can keep those on your end.
Hey.
Yeah.
You notice I keep my clothes on. Corey Gomel says, I want the girl, I love the girl, I lost the girl, wish I had a girl, or I need to talk to the girl. All Jeff Lynne staples. The gold veranda in the dark has gone down to the metal man. Now those lyrics came out of left field. I smell some help from Rosie Vela.
See, now I know what people are talking about. I never picked up veranda, but I always picked up has gone down to the metal man. So now I see where people are coming from now. That's a pretty good lyric. Whoever came up with it.
I think it was Jeff Lynne.
Well, he gets writing credit, but
yeah,
a certain bass player also has some disagreements about who wrote what. But I don't think he can comment about that anymore.
And there we go into the dark humor.
Yes. And maybe we should. Things are getting weird on my end.
On my end too.
Okay, maybe we should end. Okay. What was our sign off? I think we've done it.
I think we're done here.
Right. I think we're done here. Zoom is telling us we're done here.
As soon as we sound like robots, we're done.
Yeah.